Isn't it kind of exciting though? Like, obviously, the world has gone completely into chaos.
Yes.
Isn't it great?
Like, we are in this weird position where the mainstream media is almost universally accepted as at least being mostly full of shit, or partly full of shit.
Totally
right?
full of crap.
The most optimistic person says, well, they lie sometimes. Right? That was never the case with Walter Cronkite.
Exactly. Who also lied all the time.
Or was it? Or was it?
Did he lie?
He lied all the time, but people didn't realize it.
They lie like a crackhead hitting on a crack rock.
Alex, every word they say is a lie, including and the.
Since the beginning.
It's reached new levels of lying, though.
No, we've reached new levels of being able to expose them. They were lied us into the Spanish War in Cuba 100 years ago. Nothing's changed.
That's the truth, right?
Rosebud.
Yes.
Yeah. Gulf of Tonkin, Operation Northwood.
It's always been lies.
They've always been
Mass
lies.
destruction.
Right. This is the way they do business.
The New York Times refused to report that Germany was targeting Jews.
Exactly.
So how do we,
because that would be buying into identity politics at the time, because Jews were white, and that's what Hitler said. Jews weren't white.
And the government knew about it, and they covered it up,
Yes.
including the railroads, which they could have stopped, but they decided not to.
There's a book called Buried... Hold on, let me just make one point. There's a book called Buried by the Times. Look it up.
Yep.
And this was how they covered it up, because they didn't want to buy into what Hitler was saying.
how is it now different? You know, if they've been, I think they've been lying the whole time.
Yes.
But how are we now figuring it out? Right?
Well, I'll tell you what's about to happen. They're devaluing the currency on purpose to crash all the world of currencies and bring out the Great Reset.
That's not what we're talking about, Alex.
No.
This is the Build Back Better agenda, Malice.
No, you're asking Malice
You
why
guys
it's
gotta learn
happening.
how to do this.
No,
This is how
why
you do
it's
this.
more obvious.
When a guy starts talking, you don't talk over him. That's how it works.
Do we have a conch?
Alex.
Do we have a
Let him
conch?
talk.
Yes, we need a
A conch to pass around.
Let him talk.
So you think this?
Go ahead, Malice. Tell us. No, listen. It's the Great
Ian, is your mic
Reset.
working?
It's the Great Reset. ResetWars.com. The point is this the Great Reset, and they're plunging the world economy on by design to consolidate control and kill all the major currencies. That's why there's inflation. That's why there's supply chain breakdowns. I'm just telling you, tomorrow's news today, there is a global destruction of the supply chain and the world currencies to bring in a new world currency based on the vaccine passport.
The issue, what they were asking is, has the corporate press gotten worse? And my point is, we have more mechanisms to expose their depravity and malfeasance in real time. For example, if this had been 20 years ago, they would have been in a position not to let this Kyle Rittenhouse video anyone would ever see it.
Yep.
Now, if you have some kind of hack journalist with his cameraman, one's wearing a mask, one's not, everyone has got a phone, and all it takes is one person to film it, put it on Twitter or Facebook, and then immediately everyone can see it in real time.
Michael, I totally agree with you.
This guy right here.
I just sent you a text message with a meme. It's an amazing meme with Alex. You got to look at this. It's one of my favorite memes. It's a "You Are Here" meme. It's all the shit that Alex has predicted that's come true, and then where you are right now.
Let me read it.
Can you get it? Can you get it on your screen? Do you have
Not
way
through
to
a text message.
You
though.
fucking primitive.
Can you
apes.
tweet it out, or
Jesus
post it
Christ.
on Instagram.
Don't you have a Jamie?
Don't we have a Jamie?
I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Well, they'll pull it up.
Oh,
Let me just-
wait. I can Facebook it too, can I?
Oh yeah, sure.
Let me just say this nicely. Everybody's right. I'm obnoxious and I'm horrible and I apologize.
No, that's not what the meme
no,
is.
but
the meme
Michael,
is that you're right.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'll send you the meme. I've said. I
can't.
know.
I'm
you've
saying
seen it
Malice
before.
is trying to talk about how the
can't do it
establishment
that way.
media is dead. I'm talking about how the establishment's hitting us economically. So
I got
he's
it.
making a legitimate point. I'm making a separate point about the progenitor of the problems we have.
Yeah, I think you guys are both true. There is a global awakening, but there's also a drastic escalation when it comes to the Great Reset, the Build Back Better agenda, what Klaus Schwab is having wet dreams about when it comes to enslaving humanity, making people live in pods, making people eat bugs, having them as little paid.
Oh, my God.
But they're not going.
peasants.
That's because they're not going down without a fight. So
Exactly.
once the mask is off, you better get whatever you
But
can.
we win the fight quicker if we know who they are.
Look at
Yes.
that meme. Make that larger. Make that meme larger. Look at that shit.
Pull that
Your
up,
TV
Jamie.
spying on you. Check.
Bohemian.
Elite cabal of sex traffickers. Check. They're turning the frogs gay.
Check.
It's like hermaphrodites. It's
Not quite
hermaphrodites,
gay,
right?
yeah.
Bohemian Grove. Check. Silver iodide. Not
What
really
is that?
sure. Rich people using baby blood. I'm not.
That's
sure.
true. No, it's
That
happening
too,
down
that
in
one's
Mexico
right
right
too.
now.
No,
Peter
is
Thiel
it
and
really?
Yes, it is.
Disgust.
People are doing that. Yep.
You are here, human monkey chimeras,
Oh, I'm looking
which
forward to
he
that.
predicted a long time ago.
Well, where's that? Where's the?
Wait,
monkey
you're
thing?
saying the elves aren't real? That's
no, that's next.
Well, the elves
It's like,
are
this
real.
is what
Of
he's
course they're
predicted.
real.
They're coming next.
In
All
what
right, so
dimension?
hold on.
though?
What is silver
Forget
iodide?
That's like some shit that kills diseases.
Oh.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It's essentially true, but also poison
Now, let me-
and makes your skin blue.
It can
But
be
I'll
too much.
point
Brandon
something out.
Adams, right?
I'll point something out about this meme. The TV's spying on you. Alex, you were pointing these things out because they were happening. The turning the frogs gay, that was atrazine. I believe that's a pesticide, right? And that was messing with the endocrine systems of frogs, which was causing weird deformities.
I was just covering a Berkeley study, yeah.
But
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was more changing their gender, and it wasn't making them.
But here's the
look
deal.
like
I'll
gay.
be here for 5 hours. Joe's got to go to his show.
Then why are you yelling?
That's how he talked normally.
You have a microphone.
That's how he talks normally.
I'm sorry. I
Sorry,
didn't mean to
pizza.
yell. I'm sorry.
I am the Alex Whisperer.
You should see him in church.
Take the vaccine. Okay, I want to hear what Joe Rogan has to say.
yeah.
Joe's nice to say nice things about me, but Joe's also predicted a lot of stuff that came true.
What did I predict?
You predict? Okay, my God. Have you watched your earlier comedy?
I don't think
Probably not.
maybe.
Watch your own
Okay,
stuff,
I remember
yeah.
in like 1999, I just met Joe before, like gone to dinner with him and like this producer I know, and then I go to see him at the Cap City Comedy Club, now defunct, and he goes up and he goes, "Let me tell you what's going to kill the corporate media in Hollywood and everybody. It's going to be the internet." It was the first
Yes,
guy I heard say this.
100%.
He goes, "There's no way they can compete with the internet." He did this whole freaking rant, and it was all true. And then he went on to say, but the sucky part about technology is they claim we all these Jetson suits and jetpacks and all this
Yeah.
incredible stuff, but
Hold
instead
on.
your cell phone craps out when you're behind a bush.
Yeah.
Right.
The
This
problem.
is like you ever see that movie Talladega Nights where he says like you ain't first, you last.
Yeah.
He's like I was high when I said that. Same answer.
You know my
I was
problem.
high
There you
when I
go,
said
man.
that.
I feel like corporate media is no longer NBC, ABC. Now it's Google and
Oh, of
Alphabet
course.
and
That's not even a
Facebook.
question. Ian.
Facebook.
It's, well, in a way, it's
But
worse.
but
Facebook
look,
is worse than
we-
ABC.
but it's
It all
more
needs to be
transparent.
decentralized. It needs to be
Yes.
decentralized.
Yes, sir.
There needs to be
Absolutely.
decentralized, open communication where people need to find out what the fuck is really going on. We're finding that through all these corporate, all these like internet companies, whether it's Google or whether it's Facebook or Instagram. If they can just censor you based on ideology, then you don't have freedom of speech because they're the primary means that people communicate. So until we accept that there's some sort of utility, it's not as simple as it's a private company. When it's literally one of the main 2 or 3 ways that human beings share ideas across the planet fucking Earth, it's bigger than just a company. And I don't know what the solution to that is, but we have to have that conversation.
Free the software.
Right
I
now,
mean,
we're
Joe-
not having that
Yeah.
conversation.
They're
because-
abusing their power.
Right,
we are.
because the way it censors is always in favor of the left. And the people on the left think that's a good idea. But eventually you can't be left enough. It's
Yeah.
just going to keep going. It's a machine. It's Pac-Man. It's just going
Wait,
to keep
can I-
shooting.
Wait,
Can I
wait,
say
wait,
back,
wait, wait,
Luke?
wait, wait. I
Feedback.
gotta ask Joe. So a couple years ago, you had Jack Dorsey on your show. You got a bunch of dislikes on the video. We ended up talking. You ended up inviting me out, and I don't
You
know.
destroyed him.
Well, it's not about that. I wanted to ask you, like, how do you feel your opinion has changed since before we did that
That's a great
show
question.
and
Well,
to where we're at today?
Well, there's a lot of things have opened my eyes, like slowly but surely, like seeing examples of people censored, and some of them that don't make any sense at all. Like one of the best ones was Brett Weinstein and his whole this whole Unity Party.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
when that got censored, I was like, okay, you guys banned an account for no reason because you thought that account, which is by a bunch of influential intellectuals, was going to somehow or another take votes away from what you thought was
Yeah.
the party that should win, and so you just banned the account. So now you're making like these ideological choices about free speech. So you're saying your free speech is not as important as the result that I want, and so you're going to ban people. And when I saw that, I was like, this is wild. This is fucking wild. And then I talked to a lot of people that were the Second Amendment advocates. They were saying before the election, they were going back into their Instagrams and their Facebooks and finding posts from 8-9 years ago and banning them for those posts.
Yep.
That they were going deep. Yeah, they were doing that just specifically because they didn't want people influencing the vote in any way. 1,000 here, 100 there. Like if they could just chip away through all these different angles. Like this is
and make examples
And
out
let's
of
just
people.
briefly
Yeah.
look at that. Imagine it's one thing for an orthodoxy to take over and make you comply, but to punish you before it took over is thought crime. Before, I mean, this is mind control. This is like in science fiction. This was never dreamed of, where you're punished for behavior before the new orthodoxy comes in. So you don't just submit in the current state. You're going to pay for not adopting it before
Wait,
it was the new
hold on.
religion.
I got to correct you. This isn't not science fiction. This is what they did in the Soviet Union, where if you were on the wrong side before Stalin took over, you were executed with your family.
but-
So this has historical precedent.
No, I know it's been done
My
before.
family was literally tortured in
Yeah.
Poland for daring to question
it's-
the government or not having the proper paperwork during a random passport check.
No.
But I think-
I know tyrants do that, Luke. I know tyrants do that. What is it?
It's listen. It's retroactive
Nicholson.
enforcement.
Yes.
Retroactive.
They cut his fucking nose in Chinatown. That's
Let me.
Malice.
I want to counter this though, because we were actually heading in a direction in this conversation. We were talking about how we're actually starting to realize how deceptive the media is, and then I pointed it over to Drew because these same tools are what allowed Drew to be on the ground during the
Exactly.
Rittenhouse during the Kenosha incident, film it, and then be a witness. The media could have absolutely shut it down. You'd see a newspaper article and it would say white supremacist crosses state lines with gun, and that's the only thing you'd know. And they tried it. Drew, Richie, Jorge Ventura, Elijah
Exactly.
Schaefer.
They broke that
You guys
paradigm.
were down there.
And then to watch the prosecutor try to go, oh, you're a right winger, you're evil. It's like, it's footage, it's raw. Like Joe said, oh, and then they saw the raw footage. Once you see that, it's game over.
He literally
ready
tried
for
to
the
say
world
that
of
my
deepfakes,
footage
man.
was slanted in a certain way, and I responded and I said, well, yes, it's BLM and Antifa are literally rioting in the footage. What people need to understand is this propaganda is so dangerous, not because they're just telling lies, but they're attempting to control the narrative, which is an attempt to control your mind. And that's what's dangerous. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, that should seriously concern you, because this is what they do to control the minds of millions of people. And it's allowed on a daily basis. And it's like, it's encouraged. And why don't people take issue with this, that people are trying to control your mind on a daily basis?
Because the average man would rather be safe than be free. We're taught since kids to defer to that expert at the front of the room.
Conform.
And
It's
one of the
also
reasons
the
they always,
people-
just for one sentence,
cults.
one of the reasons they always talk about follow the experts, it's not just with COVID, it's also with this. Am I going to look at the footage and draw my own conclusion, or am I going to listen to the prosecutor?
Okay,
And I'm
Joe,
gonna listen
you
to
were
the
saying
prosecutor.
something.
So sad because I don't know any progressive. I know a lot of progressives, and not one of them knows that one of the victims of Kyle was a pedophile. They all think it was an innocent black BLM
And
protester
who raped a kid. It's not like he had attractions.
Five
Yes,
kids.
okay.
5 kids, and he was an underage boy during this,
So
battle
11
with him.
incidences, but
So it messes with people so badly. I know so many people that have no information about the case but have an opinion completely
Yeah.
made up. It's
Wasn't
sad.
the other guy? Didn't he get all his charges dismissed on previous
6
cases?
days before.
Yeah.
6 days
Yeah, he
before
just
he had a
left prison.
DUI charge dropped, but he was a career criminal. I mean, he went down for domestic abuse, prowling, trespassing, 2 DUIs, felony burglary, 2 counts of carrying a firearm while
Bro,
intoxicated.
this is
So,
cult shit.
yeah.
Yep.
We're in a cult.
Yes.
This is
Yes,
a cult.
dude.
Tell us,
Dude,
Joe.
yeah,
Tell us.
came
We're in a
into
cult.
this-
Tell us, Joe.
Joe Rogan.
Speak to us,
Tell
leader.
How does the Kool-Aid taste?
Shut up, Malice.
Joe.
How's the
Not-
Kool-Aid?
No, we are in a cult.
Not-
Joe, start over.
This information is not based on reality. This is
Yes.
a left-wing cult, and they're pumping stuff out, and then they're confirming this belief. They're all getting together, and they're ignoring contrary evidence.
Yes.
They're ignoring any narrative that challenges their belief about what happened, and they're not looking at it realistically. They're only looking at it like you would look at it if you're in a fucking cult.
Sounds
It's
like
a
religion.
weird left. Cult is a religion that's just like it's
just-
just
yeah.
older. I had
Non-theistic
a bit about it. They're
Well,
like,
the cult doesn't let you ask questions. Joe, go ahead.
Well, a cult is made by a guy, and that guy knows it's a cult. In a religion, that guy's dead. That's the difference. Like, religions are just cults that last longer. And some of them prove to be worthwhile, like social and economic and even moral structures. Like, they actually benefit society. Like, some cults, they're based on rituals or things that people learned, and they realize this is a better way to live their life. But some of them are just based on the present moment of gathering the most amount of whether it is influence or finances or what power, whatever the fuck it is. That's what this is. This
Joe
is
and
a
I totally
left-
agree. So let me ask the next question.
100% a left
'cause I really
wing
want to
cult.
hear what you have to say. What is the period we're in now? Because it seems like it's coming to an end.
This is Kali Yuga, man. This is some weird shit that was predicted by the Bhagavad Gita. This is
Guder
the end of
Damarong,
times.
Battle of the Gods,
Yeah.
Ragnarok. Tell me.
This is what happens in cultures. Like, they go through these pitches, these ups and downs, and it's almost inevitable. Like, it's almost impossible for us with our human reward systems that are based on like animal emotions and biology to manage millions and millions and millions of people all on one continent with money and the economy and the fucking environment. It's almost impossible to do. So it almost always slides into authoritarianism. And the best way it slides into authoritarianism is control the narrative.
Joe, you got to leave. Keep going, brother.
So you say it's almost impossible. How would you say we can do it?
Mushrooms.
Beautifully said.
Mushrooms.
Well, let me ask that question.
We gotta
next.
love each other. We need mushrooms. We gotta realize we're all in this thing together. We can, instead of competing with each other, just do your best and give everybody hugs.
I agree. So let's expand on that.
No, you
briefly.
don't agree. You're not in this thing with some of these people.
Why do hallucinogens taken properly create such peace? Why are they?
Because they eliminate the ego, and the ego is responsible for most of the conflict. Most of the conflict is, instead of thinking, I got to get this guy back, just relax. Everybody relax. Everybody, look at this. What does everybody want in terms of,
you forgave me
culture?
3 years ago when I was being a dick.
Everybody.
And it was so much
I try
better.
to forgive everybody. Listen,
it was amazing.
What does everybody want in this life? You want good friends. You want to be safe. You want your children to go to good schools. You want your loved ones to be protected. You want people to get by and have a good life for as long as they possibly can. That's what everybody wants. But you think that other people are trying to stop you from having that. Other people are trying to stop you from having that. There's a few sociopaths that want to gather it all up for themselves.
There you go.
I forgive you too, Alex. Of people.
But Joe, I've had this conversation with Ian a whole lot, because Ian's the voice on our show who's always telling us to stop being so dark and try and bring people together. But you look at the prosecutor in the Rittenhouse case.
He's a demon.
Overwhelmed, lying.
Yeah.
You see the judge say that was a grave constitutional violation.
I think that's been going on forever.
It has.
Finally, we have the internet.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
And now we can see it for what it is.
And now
we can see it.
And now conservatives are realizing, the old conservative line about if you haven't done anything wrong, don't worry about getting arrested, you'll be fine.
Not true.
I know, but conservatives now realizing, wait a minute, when the government, the Eye of Sauron, has you in their sights, they're going to do whatever they can.
I've been experiencing that, where they just lie about everything.
What were you just saying about not interrupting?
Malice.
I was just the one point is people
you have a lot of malice for me.
I don't have a lot of love for you.
I know.
But
start over.
I'm not going to start over. I'm just going to say my one sentence, which is conservatives now realizing when the government, which is the Eye of Sauron, has you in their sights, they're going to do whatever they can to break you. And this is something that disproportionately hurts poor people. And the left has been arguing about that for a long time, and they were right.
That's inarguable, right?
Yes.
It was 2020.
But now the left's
people
all
that
anti-free
can't afford
speech,
to,
anti-due process.
Well, there's something to say about what's happening right now. Some people have called it the fourth turning. You could feel it. It's energetic. You know something's happening. You see the Titanic. You see the iceberg. You're like, holy cow, the ship is heading somewhere. But at the end of the day, we could still decide where it goes. And I think, to Joe's point, mushrooms, decentralization are ways to start the conversation. But I think we should focus on that as well, because I think that's the true kind of opening that we should be really examining and looking into, because there is something to talk about with so much power and influence here. We could do something incredible here.
I don't know about mushrooms, but that NAD stuff was legit. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.